Babble, oh, psychobabble. You're out in the sea, now it's fading to black. I threw it away, 'cause I don't want it back. I don't care what it's all psychobabble
Tuscaloosa heart. This is what I like to call my told you so dance. I told you so, 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 I told you so.
Rypta'ed, dog. You talked to Rypta'ed lately?
I talk to Rypta'ed every day.
What's up with Rypta'ed, church?
Do you know what a crevasse is?
Big,
Not a crevice, a crevasse.
Big.
Sounds like something that
A
Cole
crevasse
was
is a
trying to say
gaping
when I was
hole, and
Big.
that's what Ryan has between his fucking legs.
I know what a croissant is.
Crevasse.
A little croissant.
But anyway, I just wanted to come up here and clear that about the Taylorville show.
Oh,
T, it's good seeing you, dog. I hope you're doing good.
I
You
didn't
too,
even.
Adam.
It's the first time I've been on a live panel in fucking months.
Hey, church, get the OGs together like Young Gunner and do a fucking diss record with Young Gunner.
Hey Ryan, I talked to I talked to Rypta'ed. Rypta'ed said that he's got a screenshot in his phone that if Deerdorf saw it, that he would come to your house and slit your fucking throat. That's no bullshit. Deerdorf has got, or I'm sorry, Rypta'ed has so much fucking shit on you, you fucking piece of shit.
Doing slitting.
Anyway, appreciate you letting me up, Chop.
Hey, T, what's
Simple
up,
man,
dog? You
Adam.
good, bro? I'm sorry. There was
Easy,
a
brother.
pussy in the chat. There was a big ass pussy in the chat. I'm sorry, T. I love you, bro.
Yeah, much love, T.
And I'm about to hit the road again. This one's going to be a long one. But before I hit the road, there's something I want to address. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm not going to run you in the ground. That's not my style. But if we've got to explore while I left the fucking ranch, we can. And I want you to be aware that once we do that, there is no going back. I'm going to leave it simply at, I will not be treated like you treat the people you supposedly care about. That's why I'm gone. Try to leave it at just that. Quit taking the fucking pills and act right. Spend some time with your family. Quit worried about every other man on this fucking planet but yourself. I ain't doing this shit, bro. It's not me. I made it out. I'm away from it. You keep... It's been a total of about 4 weeks since I left there. And I ain't said shit. I ain't told nobody why I left because it's a sad situation. It's not good. I had to leave my buddy because he's on some dumb shit. He's on some shit that I can't condone. He's on some shit I can't stand next to. And he did some shit to me that's so damn red, I could never stand for a friend to do it. Especially to my other friends. But, hey, I'm trying to leave it. I get calls, yeah, there's videos being posted, there's people talk. Hey, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I know why I left, and I'm very, very happy at the fact that I'm away from you. If we've got to explore it, we'll explore it. Motherfucker gonna tell me I could take my side-by-side, and then not say nothing to me, act all sketchy about it, and then start posting videos about another man's character daily in my side-by-side. No, look, keep it. It's cool. Remember when you grabbed me and you put your hand over my shoulder? Bro, we're going to take over those payments for you. I was like, no, man, as long as B-Loose actually gets my fucking shit right, I'll be fine. You don't have to do that. No, I want to, bro. I want to. Just like you wanted to pay my truck off for my birthday and I never heard nothing about it. Either way, you sitting that side-by-side every day bitching about another man's character. You think that don't rub me wrong? When it gets sent to my inbox by people to see right through your shit? They're like, man, ain't that yours? Nah, it's not mine. Don't worry about it. But technically, a cosigner cannot just commandeer the primary owner's vehicle without at least my signature. The thing is, I'm the type of guy that even though you ran your mouth, even though you want to just make a mess everywhere you go, damn, you can send me that title in the mail and I'll sign it and I'll send it right back to you. Because I don't care, bro. I'm washing my hands of you and this shit and all of it. I went back. I spent 2.5 years. All my questions got answered. I'll never have to wonder again what it'd be like if I went back running around with you. I got to see it, front and center, clear as day. The only variable was that I became a father and I turned 30 years old. The things I learned I would and would not tolerate changed very quickly. You became one of those. I was held in high regard. Probably still should be. But it comes down to, Ryan, you know as well as I do, I'm one of the only people to bend over backwards for you, help you with anything you could ever need. And I'm one of the only friends you have that has never touched your mother.
Holy shit.
That's a sad fucking fact, bro.
Man.
Not to mention the way you feel about the people that have done those things to you and why in the hell you'd ever keep them around.
That right there, that is something that has always been a mystery to me with some people, because people will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. I mean, that is so very true. I mean, if you allow people to treat you like shit, guess what they're going to do? And especially if you treat your own life like shit, like if you don't have any respect for your own life, how do you expect other people to have respect for it? If you're running around trying to bang other people's woman, then why shouldn't somebody try to bang yours? I mean, it's just, I don't understand any of this circle jerk stuff that is built around who gets the biggest gifts and for what. It's like, how do you tolerate somebody like, you got cousin Billy that's literally being kept. I mean, literally being kept. Car, clothes, food, room, board, everything. And then you got another loyal friend that, you're playing games with his shit, like holding his belongings hostage for what he may owe you, yet he's at your 24-hour becking call. I mean, wow. Who would even want that?
Other than some weird satisfaction on having them on ball and chain type shit.
There you go. And, I said that right from the rip. It's, this buying this loyalty and then holding the loyalty hostage. Yeah, that is some really messed up stuff. That's, those aren't friendships, man. Those are arrangements, and they never work out. They never work out, ever.
Weird, brother. See, I would have been a lot more quiet, but you jumped out ahead the day I left. And I'm going to cherry pick a question. Me and Rypta'ed, there's no beef. There's no beef. Yeah, he moved, but there's no beef. You tried to jump out ahead of this shit, bro. Like you do everything. If I had to say the exact moment I quit giving a fuck, it'd be hard because you've done a lot of things to make it easier over the few weeks. But when I was there hooking up my trailer by myself, I went by myself for the slight chance that you might show your face in that field. I knew you wouldn't, but it was still like, just in case. Hooking my trailer up by myself, bullshitting with Rob, and you're going to have somebody go flying by on my side by side. Just to add insult to injury, just to be a dick. I don't know if it was you or not. I really don't think it was you. Regardless, it's about the moment I realized your neck may be a little too red. You want some red ass shit. I left the ranch negative. Yeah, I got you to pay my buddy back, and that's good on you. You should do that shit, and it shouldn't have took 2.5 weeks to do. But I left the ranch negative $600, and I had to pay for a U-Haul that I didn't have money for. I came home having to hit the ground running. I had to find a place to live with the quickness. I've got rent, I've got truck payments, car payments, and a lot of other things that need to be taken care of. I'm not going to spend my time doing this back and forth shit. Any time I have is going to be spent making $1, and any spare time from that is going to be spent with the family and friends that I've lost a lot of time with, bending over for you. I'm not saying another word about this shit unless y'all want to pull something fucking stupid, which wouldn't surprise me because it seems to be something you like to do, but I ain't doing it.
Man.
Enjoy your life, brother.
Gee. Christ, man. Told you so. I told you so, Crack Squad. Told you so. You know, if you go over to Triple T's and you watch Triple T's version, that what you just watched right there, that's what's currently on Rypta'ed's Instagram. He's cut some of the pieces out of it. I think he cut about 4 pieces out. Triple T's got the whole original post. I think Triple T recorded it right as it was posted. And before he went and edited it, and he literally speaks specifically to, hey, quit taking the pills. You're ruining everything taking these pills. And you can go see that on Triple T's video. I wasn't going to rob him of the views by playing his version. You know, you guys can go over there and watch it. Yeah, he literally speaks specifically to quit taking the pills. And I don't understand what really. For one, Rypta'ed doesn't deserve anybody to feel sorry for him. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because when he was getting ready to move back in there 1.5 years ago, everybody was like, oh man, I hope you call this shit out, man. I hope you know. And what he didn't do any of those things. He just became a part of it. And then when he had a kid and he really realized he was being used and manipulated and taken advantage of, he gets out. Well, you know, hey, hooray for him for getting out. But there's a lot going on with what he said. How in the hell can you work, be someone's assistant, live in assistant 24 hours a day and leave owing money and leave without your side by side? I mean, unreal. Knowing that he turns around and gives Billy shit that he didn't earn. You don't compensate somebody helping you out with $100,000s of dollars or $500,000. It's out of proportion, and it's going to blind any kind of natural friendship or loyalty that could have ever developed is going to be blinded by that. And then it's always going to be contingent on that, because if Ryan ever took any of that back, that would be the end of the relationship. If Ryan quit giving, that would be the end of it. There would be a dispute. Like, why? What did I do wrong? Why aren't you taking care of me anymore? Rather than thank you for all you did so far, now I'll go get a job and take care of myself. There'll be hard feelings. And yeah, what a hot mess. You're not supposed to keep friends. Okay, friends are supposed to be loyal just because, not because they're living in a house that belongs to you or driving a car that belongs to you. They're supposed to be loyal because they're your friend, and they don't want anything. And, Ryan's had friends like that, and he treated them like they didn't matter, like Adam Calhoun, who was probably a better friend to Ryan than anyone in his life right now. And then some. I can tell you, Adam would have probably had his back no matter what. Even when he probably shouldn't have. And these dudes that are around him now, it's all contingent on what he can do for them. And you can even hear it in Rypta'ed's voice. There's jealousy there. You give all these other people stuff. Why didn't you give me stuff? Well, he's letting you live there rent free. I think that's, that's got a value. Why do you want to live off of another man anyway? I don't, why do you have to live with him to be in his life? That doesn't make any sense. He talks about going back because he wanted to be his friend again. Well, you got to live with the guy to be his friend or something. None of that makes any sense to me. I wouldn't accept gifts like that from my friends, because if they were truly a friend, I would know that it would tear the friendship apart. I might be like, dude, I'll hell yeah, I'll take a Hellcat, but I would like you finance it for me. I'll pay you for it type deal. I'd do that. But no, I wouldn't go, oh, well, here, I'll drive your car around and I'll live in your house. No, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that life. No fucking way. You people out there that think it's great and it sounds wonderful, you're out of your mind, man, because it's never your house. It's never your life. It's never your accomplishment. It's never your doing. And you just feel like a third wheel, no matter what. And I guarantee you that's got a lot to do with why Rypta'ed left. He felt like he wasn't getting the acknowledgments some of the others were getting. Yet you're living there rent free too. I mean, I don't know. Blows my mind. And you can hear a lot between the lines that Rypta'ed's not even saying, right? Like in one of the segments that was, I believe, cut out of this, you can catch it on Triple T's. He talks about, I came there by myself to move my camper, hoping you would come out and talk to me. So there wasn't even any communication going on there. So how do you have a house full of people you're keeping and there's no communication? Everybody's in their own camp in your house on your dime. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what you'd call that. It's not a friendship. It's an arrangement that is just terrible. And what I hate, and I'm telling you guys this, my gut tells me that Be Loose is no good, that he has sinister intentions, and he's robbing Ryan blind behind his back. That's I just have the strongest gut feeling that that's the case. And I hope I'm not right, but I'm probably right. And the keeping the pills around there is just another weapon in his arsenal of isolation and control, manipulation and control. I mean, if you're supposed to be a manager, then I would think that it's your fucking job to manage everything that's going on there with everybody that's living there, with every arrangement that's going on there. You're supposed to be the guy that's out in front of that and on top of it, and knowing exactly what's going on, and you should be somebody that people could come to if it's a team with complaints, and have them be heard. So yeah, it's a shit show. You can just like his mom said, and listen, I'm not gonna knock it, because I hate to say what I would have done at 20 years old with a couple $1 million. I don't know what I would have done. I was still like, I was pretty irresponsible at 20 years old still. I was probably about 26 or 27 before I really started like giving a shit about tomorrow and, and long term and saving money and health insurance and retirement and, owning a home and all those things, that those things started to matter more. But when I was like 21, 22, 23, it didn't really matter to me that much. So I couldn't imagine what I would do, but man, keeping all these motherfuckers and nobody's talking to each other and people are moving out and stabbing each other in the back and people's womans are getting nailed while in the middle of babies being born. And whew, wow. And the funny thing is, you still got, Crack Squad will still act like Ryan's the victim. Still, Ryan's the victim. And everybody else is just picking on poor Ryan. Watching him be just absolutely stoned out of his gourd for 2 years, and this whole past summer, like calling everybody out, talking bad about everybody in the business. And then when they finally respond, he accuses them of bothering him and simping on him and like, just leave me alone and shit. If that didn't destroy his credibility with anybody that's got an IQ above a 2, I don't know what would. I mean, if you still could support that nonsense, that cowardice nonsense of all the shit he said, and then when those guys lay down some diss tracks, he just treats it like it's some game and that they're bothering him and they should just leave him alone. And just, oh my fucking God, man. I mean, you go to every one of their channels, ain't a single one of them got a video, hey, Ryan, none of them were saying anything about him anywhere other than, maybe saying something good, maybe saying something positive here and there. And yet Crack Squad stood beside that nonsense that they were bothering him after he had called them out all frickin' summer. And I'm sorry, but 3 of them diss tracks were pretty damn good. And Justin Time slapped him around like a stepchild. And so did Adam Calhoun. And he did it with rap. He didn't do it with personal insults. He didn't do it with personal attacks on his life. He didn't do it with personal attacks on his size, shape, speaking ability, education, income level, home, woman, children, nothing. Just mopped the floor with him using rap. And how does Ryan respond? Personal insults, personal attacks, you know, belittling of accomplishments, you know, just nonsense. You know, the work that Adam did with Tom McDonald has performed as well, if not better, than anything he did with Ryan. And yeah, Ryan may have featured him when he wasn't as known as he is now, but it's what he did after that that belongs to him. And he's done quite a bit, and Ryan had nothing to do with it. It was in despite of Ryan's bad mouthing. And same goes for Chase Matthews. Same goes for Luke Combs. Same goes for Morgan Wallen. Same goes for Kane Brown. So, you know, every one of them have either maintained their career or grown in their career, and Ryan has been on a steady decline for 4 years, just a complete downward spiral. That last 2 songs that he put out are just pure trash. They're not worthy of a SoundCloud rapper. Like I'm not kidding you. A SoundCloud rapper with a microphone from Walmart's $5 grab basket could make a better track than either one of those from his bedroom with no help at all. And, you know, there he is making videos claiming he can play the guitar, making videos claiming he can play the drums, claiming he can play he can't play anything. Can't play anything. Not one damn thing. You know, picking up a guitar and making a few notes doesn't mean you know how to play the guitar. For God's sakes. And I mean, even that little girl that he dissed so bad could play the guitar. Anyway, what do you guys think Rypta'ed has a picture of? You guys start putting in the chat. We'll talk about it. I want your opinion. What do you think the picture is? Because I got a pretty good feeling I know what it is. Because Dagburn, I can't remember what that conversation was, but like a year or so ago, there was some talk about a nude picture. Man, what was it? What was it, Dagburn? Because I forget. Yeah, there you go. That was another bullshit move. Yeah. So, you know, Big J says, you know, honestly, that's some weirdo shit on Ryan and Patty both. I ain't letting my buddy screw my mom. Both screwed in the head. Right. I'm going to tell you something, man. It's hard being a single mother. It's lonely. You know, all you ever got is kids or your teenage sons around, you know, and it's easy to look for romance nearby. Okay. It's convenient. It's easy and it does happen. But my argument is there's just shit you don't do, right? Like the bro code. And there is a bro code. Okay. There absolutely is a bro code. And, it's an unsung bro code in my opinion, but, like, you know, there's 300 and some million people, in the United States, and there's actually more single women than there are single men right now. And of all the people you can date, you got to look inside your friend's inner circle. I mean, no, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't date your buddy's ex-girlfriend. Don't date your buddy's ex-wife. Don't, you know, go after your buddy's mom. Just don't do those things. They at the end of the day, you're going to look bad. And why would you want someone around that has no more respect for you than that? That's what I don't get. I mean, before Ryan ever had a falling out with his mom, now I want you to wrap your mind around this. Okay. Before Ryan ever had a falling out with his mother, when they were extremely close and she was living there, Belu saw it fit to be abusive to her. While he was Ryan's manager during the day and supposed to be making videos, I haven't seen him make a video in 3-4 years now. Supposed to be making videos, supposed to be a manager by day, and then by night he's abusing his client's mother, Ryan's mother. Before they ever had a falling out, he's being verbally abusive. She said somewhat physical abusive at times, certainly verbally abusive. And, you know, he saw Ryan talk to his mother like shit, so he figured he could talk to her like shit. I just don't understand how you keep somebody around that has no more respect for you than that. That they're willing to, you know, be abusive to your mother. And I think that Belus knew that since him and her were breaking up, that he had to drive a wedge between Ryan and his mom, because otherwise the wedge would be driven the other way. And he's not done embezzling the amount of money he needs to live the rest of his life without ever having to do any physical labor. And so that's what he's doing. He's, you know, he's driven a wedge between Ryan and his mom, filling Ryan's head full of just absolute, utter nonsense. And now he's, you know, just swiping as much as he can without being noticed and making sure nobody gets too close. And Ryan's foolish enough to let him. And I find it just absolutely comical that he just lets this guy do this and pays him to do it. Absolutely comical. Get caught up with these comments here. Let's see what you got with this. Yep, I think so too. That's Grum. That's my gut feeling. And like I say, there was some talk about that from, man, I knew it was Dagburn. Who was it? It says, what was that, Dagburn, when they were talking about that? Trying to think who all was talking about that. Yep, you're probably 100% right. Pecan Pie said she thinks it was a slow burn for Patty. I agree. But yeah, you can be judgmental in that regard. But like I say, it's easy to look for romance, nearby. But it, for Be Loose to be just that disrespectful to even go there at all says everything there is to say about his character. And I've said before, if they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. So if you're hanging out with your buddy and he's banging another dude's woman or he's banging some dude's mom, guess what he's going to do to you? Guess what he's going to do to you? Same damn thing. And if you sit there and watch your buddy be completely disrespectful to people that, decide to, put some distance between the relationship, Ryan has just badmouthed the shit out of everybody, right? Guess what's going to happen to you when you quit having a relationship with Ryan? Anybody listening right now that has a relationship with Ryan, guess what's going to happen to you if that relationship ends? Because you're going to be badmouthed the exact same way he badmouthed everybody else. You're not special. And so it kind of makes me chuckle a little that Rypta'ed acts like it's just going to be such an abomination if Ryan does it to him. But yet Rypta'ed sat by and watched him do it to who? Watched him do it to Chase Matthews, never said a word. Watched him do it to Adam Calhoun, never said a word. Watched him do it to Katie Noel, never said a word. Watched him do it to, what was his name? Keith or Kevin, that guitar player, never said a word. Watched him do it to Cashville and screwed Cashville financially. Never said a word. And then now it's like, oh, feel sorry for me because Ryan's going to do it to me now. How did you not know that wasn't coming? I mean, for Christ's sakes, man. If it was like he's high on more than his own farts. He's high on more than his own farts. Yeah, it's Ronnie Jones strikes again. Yeah, I know, man. It's like, yeah. Yeah. What would Tony Dodge do? I don't know. He'd probably say something funny. Okay. I'll tell you, these guys, they never stop. They never stop acting like juveniles and sixth graders. And it's unbelievable. If I ever found myself going through the trouble to make one account after another just to say some immature, derogatory comment in someone's live stream to try to get them demonetized, I kind of life do you have? It's all fabricated. Yeah, we was talking about that, Dagburn, when there a while back, like a year ago. There's another one. Go ahead and send them off to make them a new account. Dude, let me tell you something. Okay, you don't pay somebody royalties. A promotion company doesn't pay somebody royalties that they don't deserve. Period. So you can believe any fairy tales you want about Cashville, but the distribution company was not paying him royalties for no reason. They just weren't. They're not stupid. They don't pay people for no reason. And they don't then take it away and then give it back for no reason. They gave it back because they knew he could sue the ass off of them, and they would just have to give it back anyway, plus paying back any arrearage was with interest. So, you know, you can can that. This ain't child's play. This is the real world where it's real people, real adults, and real money. And no, he wasn't getting paid royalties for no reason. Period. He obviously was owed them, or they would have never been paid. And to take someone's royalties away, that's like telling somebody that, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to put the roof on my house. And so they come and they put the roof on your house, and then you say, well, Trump sucks. And they say, well, no, I think Trump's a good president. And they say, well, then I ain't paying you. Because your opinion's different than mine. So I'm not paying you for that roof you did. And that's basically what Ryan did to Cashville. And like the guy, not like him, whatever, that wasn't right. But to then go back and swing off his nutsack some more, I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, the guy does you that fucking dirty, and then 3 months later, you're swinging off his nutsack, trash mouthing somebody else that never did anything to you. And, you know, I'll never forget him saying something to me. I said, well, you know, Cashville's awful funny. I've never seen Adam Calhoun say a bad word about Ryan ever. And anytime I've ever seen Cashville speak on his career, he's took the time to like give Ryan credit. I mean, it's just something I've seen over the years without even looking for it. And in fact, I would challenge you to find a single clip anywhere of Adam Calhoun saying anything bad about Ryan anywhere. And I'll never forget, he says to me, oh, no, man, this is like behind the scenes. Well, if it's behind the scenes, then that's where it ought to stay. I don't know why. It just blows my mind. Because if it's behind the scenes, then 1 or 2 or 3 people may have heard it versus blabbing it, you know, to your entire fan base from your primary YouTube channel. There's a big difference. And when you can't see that, it blows my mind. But, you know, to set and defend a bullshit move like that right after he pulled a bullshit move on you by taking your royalties away over something that had nothing to do with music. Unreal. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you even say to somebody like that. I don't know if there is anything you could say to somebody like that. It's like, you know, I guess, you know, you're the company you keep, I guess. I don't know. I've got too much self-respect to let you screw me over twice. You might get me once. You might get me one time. But you won't ever get me a second time. You can bet your ass on that. It ain't. I don't know anything behind the scenes. I know what's put out publicly, and it's put out publicly on a public social network that's open for comment and review. And the truth's the truth. You know, when you treat people like shit, when you torment a grieving family, accusing them of just all kind of heinous crap. You single out, you know, some woman on a podcast, accuse her of all kinds of heinous crap to the point where it actually causes an investigation at her work. And it's all shit that was in your head that you fabricated. You and your friends. Somebody needs to call that shit out there. I mean, I know you don't have the maturity level to ever do anything even remotely just. But don't criticize the people that do have a spine and the people that aren't cowards like you. You know, big, huge coward that could never, ever, ever have the most unpopular opinion in the room. You're one of those like wet towels that you just agree with whatever you think is popular and people will like you. And that's just who you are. If you were with a group of people who were bad-mouthing Trump, you would bad-mouth Trump right along with them to fit in. You wouldn't go, no, you're all wrong. You would just agree because you're more interested in being liked than you are having convictions or any kind of moral foundation. You know, everyone's not that way, dude. Sorry you grew up with no father in the house. I mean, you probably wonder how I knew that. Well, I know that by your comments. By your comments, I can tell that you were raised by a single mother with no male role model in the home. And it's nobody's fault in here. You can go talk to your mom about that. Talk to her why she was so jealous and so selfish that she made you suffer so she could feel better. So she could get over some spite on your biological father. You had to grow up without him. So she could have the last word. It sucks. I know. But that's why you're broken. And you have these backward thoughts to where you can't seem to call out wrongdoing that you see right in front of you. You know that it's wrong. You know that it's hurting innocent people, but you just can't, you don't have the courage to say this is wrong, because then 5 or 6 other people that are your fake internet friends would disagree with you, and you can't have that. Sorry. It sucks. I know. I don't know. I mean, there's not much. I mean, I don't know what they think they're going to do. The genie's out of the bottle. I mean, Jesus. And let me tell you, honestly, who was the first person to crack the lid on the bottle and start letting some of the smoke out? Ryan. Nobody else even knew. Rypta'ed never said he moved. He never said a word. Ryan was the one that cherry picked a question on his Instagram and then spoke to it. And then, so now here we are. And I don't blame Rypta'ed for wanting to say, hey, dude, if you start this shit with me that you've done to everybody else, don't expect me to tiptoe around the truth. I'll just show the pictures, the screenshots, and the bullshit right from the rip, because I'm not putting up with it. And I'm pretty sure he means it. It's like, I think he's came to the conclusion that he sees that you know, Ryan as a source of income isn't going to be a reliable source In fact, that well's probably going to dry up in a year or two. And he sees that coming. And he just sees that there's just no good use there anymore. And it's just time to grow up and move on. And I don't think he's going to put up with any bullshit for doing it. You know, that's the problem. Here's the problem, Mr. Ohio. Okay. But Mr. Ohio says, you know, nobody really minds. He doesn't mind. And I don't think anybody does. You know, Ryan having a bunch of friends around him. Everybody likes that. But, you know, what's wrong with these friends that they can't grow a pair and let him know that, you know, he's going off the deep end and fucking shit up? Well, here's the problem. Okay. They can't. They just can't do that because they see what happens when you do. And again, if you go back and you listen to what Rypta'ed's saying and you just very carefully listen to every word, you hear the story. He's telling the story without telling the story. He pretty much says, you know, I knew I had to get out of there before any of you knew I was leaving. Okay, well, what's the story behind that? Well, all the rumors that we'd heard that Ryan would throw a fit, take shit back, be an Indian giver, make a bunch of threats, force an NDA on him, you know, take his phone, delete his data, whatever, right? That's what that meant. That's exactly what it meant. And how do we know that? Well, because he's done that to others. And when you're Deerdorf, what do you do? What do you do when you're Deerdorf? Okay, you have no job. Your only income is Ryan Upchurch. You have no material objects that you ever bought with your own money. Every single thing you own was some kind of horse trading you did with something that belonged to Ryan. The house you live in belongs to Ryan. The vehicle you drive belongs to Ryan. The shoes you're wearing are probably Ryan's. Side by sides Ryan's, the quads Ryan's. And everything you've ever showed off or bragged about belongs to Ryan. And you know, if you as much as tell him he probably should use some mouthwash because he's got bad breath before he goes out, you know you can't say that because if he gets mad, your whole life will be uprooted. And you'll have to go get a job and find a place to live and be, you know, do what other people do for, you know, to survive, you know, work every day. So he just has to take whatever Ryan dishes out. He can't even really get mad at Ryan for banging his woman. He just has to tolerate it. Because if he even says a word about it, that's the end of his gravy train. And everybody that's there is in that boat. So they can't. They can't say nothing. That's why you saw Burkhart sit there and listen to Ryan say slanderous things about the Rodney family that he knew would get him sued. And he knew it was complete and utter bullshit. He knew that it was complete and utter hallucinating bullshit. But yet he sat there shaking his head yes the entire time. Because saying no, he could not risk not being liked. He couldn't take that risk. So I've said it many times. They are the type of friends that would let him drive drunk. Rather than take a risk of him being mad because they took his keys and threatened to kick his butt if he didn't just park it and get it out of his head, he's not driving nowhere drunk. They would just hand him the keys and look the other way. That's the kind of people he has around him. Unfortunately, due to his own doing. He doesn't have anybody that would stop him and say, dude, you know, you're going to You're going to make a big mistake going live this stoned. I don't think I would do it, man. Dude, your eyes, your pupils are huge, man, and you're kind of talking out your ass. I don't think I'd go live right now, Ryan. You know, anybody around him and got guts enough to do that. So what's he do? He goes live, says she ain't real. He ends up getting sued. And he's hit 5 people suing him. And he's only made one of them go away with some money. It's a shame, like I said before, that Ryan's the only one having to pay. Because I think all the other ones ought to have to pay too. Because they did plenty of slandering sitting there. And they came up with their stupid ass clues, calling totally innocent people, accusing completely innocent people of heinous crimes against children on a live stream from a 3 million subscriber channel without a shred of evidence, using their real name and their real likeness, and telling people where they worked and everything else, and accusing them of heinous crimes against children, and not even kidding. You know, karma's going to come and kick your butt for that stuff. It's just a matter of time. You just can't do that to people. None of those people deserve that. None of them. They didn't deserve that. You know, it's just like, you know, I watched this, okay, apparently, I know there's been a lot of it too. B-Dub says the money. Yeah, there's been a lot of it. You know, that's another thing that's hurt his career a lot, I think. There's, you know, when you openly display a just callous, I don't give a rat's ass about my fans' hard-earned money, it means absolutely nothing to me. Some people can't stomach that. They just think it's just really rude. It's pompous, and it's just not a good steward. Not a good steward. It sure is twisted, and you know it's not over, not by a long shot. It's just mind blowing to me that, you know, not a single one of them gave a rat's ass what this was going to do to Ryan's career long term, and they just, all they were interested in was, oh gee, I get to be on a live stream with Upchurch. That mattered more than, I don't know. I sure as hell wouldn't have done my friend that way. I'd have told my friend, dude, don't, no. We're not going to go live and say these things. Yeah. Yeah, and he keeps, you know, he blames other people, and he's got these stupid fans blaming other people. How did other people make him slander anyone? And I just laugh my butt off. He's getting sued for no reason. Well, what did it mean when he looked into his camera and said, sue me if you don't like it? Kylie Rodney is not real. She's really a girl named Callie Ross. Callie Ross's dad works here. Here's a picture of him. Callie Ross drives this car. Here's a picture of her car. Here's a picture of her license plate. This is where she used to live. Oh, look, I found Ronnie Jones' house. Here's a picture of his house. Here's his address. I mean, what did they think was going to happen? I don't know. Oh, look, Ickenmel has a purple light like Zanime. So, yeah, they're trafficking kids. I can't believe the police haven't picked her up yet. Why haven't the police investigated her yet? Here's where she works, everybody. Here's the phone number where she works. Yeah. Why is he the only one having to pay for that when, the rest of them were doing it too? I don't know. He ought to turn around and sue them. Karma took care of the free truck. No, let me tell you how that'll go inside corners. He'll just disappear. He'll just disappear like a thief in the night, and that'll be that. You remember me telling you that? Everybody in here, you remember me telling you that Be Loose will just disappear like a thief in the night and go off and live his best life on all the money he stole from Ryan. Him and his dad. Yeah, what they'll do. Already know it. Already know it. That's why he wanted to get Ryan's mom out of there so he could have total control of all them accounts and credit cards and tell Ryan any fib he wants now. And all Ryan is like, well, did you get the pills? Did you get more pills? I thought you was going to get more pills today. Did you get more pills today? I can't go get the pills because somebody's seen me getting the pills. I mean, you got to get the pills. Right? How many times you go get them, Rypta'ed? Oh, feel sorry for me now. It was funny when he was doing it to everybody else. You was his assistant when he was doing it to everybody else. Well, yeah, that's a given, dude. Yeah, that right there is a given. That happened. Probably dozens of times. Vintage says, I think he lost his shit in front of Rypta'ed's kid. That happened. You're talking about somebody who literally will go outside and smash up, $200,000 worth of cars bought with his fans' money over some stupid, like the cable blinking out or something, like just some normal thing that other people deal with every day. So, I mean, when you're running a shit show that's so out of control, you forget about a house you bought and you don't know how much money you're supposed to have in your account. So you don't know if you got ripped off or not. You just got to take someone's word for it because you really don't know how much should be there. And you're forgetting about a house you paid for, and to the point where it's about to be taken and sold at a sheriff's sale for abandonment and derelict property. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. I mean, you hear a story, I left a brand new side-by-side sitting down in your woods. Well, I don't believe that, but I believe he would probably do something like that. But I don't believe that happened because somebody would have, Kane Brown or somebody would have went and got it. I mean, 30 acres ain't all that much land. you would know if somebody left a side-by-side there. Brand new one with the key in it just because it ran out of gas. And the fact that you would there you go. A lot of people did. A lot of people did. I still had a tiny bit of respect for him when that was going on. I will never forget the day that I will never forget the day I came to the realization that he was just fucking out there, and that this whole story about being some humble country kid was just bullshit. Okay. I honestly thought when he first started that crap about Kylie not being real, he was like trying to be funny or like trying to do some kind of parody thing. And I thought, oh, okay, he's making fun of the true crime people, and he's going to drop the punchline here any second. And he never did. And then he's like getting mad and breaking his headphones and throwing shit at the wall and having a fit. And I'm like, wait a minute, man, this dude's like taking this shit for real. And then when he totally doxed Xaname and her mom, I thought, oh my God, dude. Wow. And that right then and there, I thought, holy shit, man, this guy's just a liar. And then realizing how dumb he was, I had no idea he was that dumb. And you can tell, unfortunately, several things. One, you can tell he dropped out of school for sure, because there's a lot of stuff he doesn't know that other people know just by default. I mean, common sense stuff. Okay. Why would I need to show you anything like that? Whatever. This guy's like wants to see my Upchurch merch. Unbelievable. Unreal. Just stupid people, I guess. Yeah, he isn't faking anything. Yeah. I know. I don't even know. He's done this like 5 or 6 times. It's like, let me tell you something, little boy, InfoWar. I don't do this much, but I think I'll do it right now. Okay. I don't know what this is supposed to mean, but like right now, this is the first live stream I'm doing on this Rodecaster video console. Okay. Well, I'm as passionate about calling him out as I was being a fan. Let me just put it that way. Okay. And this Rodecaster video console was $1,200. The camera that's shooting this video tonight is a Canon M50 Mark II with a $2,000 lens on it and speed ring. The microphone's an SMB 7. That's $500 any day of the week. It's plugged into a Rodecaster Pro 2 console that are $600. And I'm streaming from a brand new dual processor Core i9 with 250 gig of RAM computer. So is it a money thing, you think, that I wouldn't have been able to afford Upchurch merch, or what? I'm just curious. Well, I don't know what you're trying to achieve there. I don't know. I started wearing the shit as work shirts. I'm gonna tell you something, man. When you don't hire a pro sound company to come in and do sound that does concerts, I think you're a fool. That's something you should never try to do yourself. Never. You should get in the yellow pages, especially in the Nashville area, and you should find the most reputable live concert sound production company there is and hire them and then ask them, hey, what light crew do you recommend? And then you hire whatever light crew they tell you to hire. Because if not, you're going to have a below average bar scene concert. Like it's going to be like equivalent to something you would see if you went to a bar. You know, just everything will be kind of okay and mediocre. Because I heard recordings, like several, and them vocals were so fucking dry at that last concert. I mean, there wasn't a fucking speck of chorus or reverb or delay or spacious ambiance or anything in that mix. It was just as dry as a fucking bone. Kick drum was flattered and shit, which that should have been the biggest thump on the stage. I don't know. I mean, I didn't see it live, so I can't have too much an opinion, but the recordings I heard sounded bad. And definitely wasn't no professional PA and light show, that's for sure. So, you know, it was probably okay. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Wait a minute. You might be in luck. Listen how stupid this fucker is. Okay. I'll just use my phone. Let's see how we can do this. He wants to see a computer that's so badass. I mean, honestly there, Stevie, there's videos all over my channel from like years ago. I mean, I used to be into it a lot more than I am now. And I've had like entire racks full of systems right here in this room. Dual processor, all of it. Many, many times, different configurations. Let's see what we can do here. Like, well, let's just do this real quick. Poor Stevie. Imagine being like jealous of random people on the internet. Like, how do you get to be that way where you're like, okay, but this. So what did you see? Oh, okay. Let's see what else we got here. Because I just built this one. Let me pull something up here. Let me see if I can find this file. Hold on. I like just making these guys feel stupid. So let's just make them feel stupid. I'll be like the rusty truck and be a one-upper and a braggart. For a minute. Now, I've never been a world champion. I want you to know that now. I've never been a world champion of anything. I've never blown 40 windshields or anything like that. Nothing's that spectacular. But let's see. Let me find. Let me go here. All right. And gotta look right here for a second. Excuse me while I explore. I can't remember what drive I saved it on. Here we go. Is this it? See if this is it. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it, I think. Yeah. Okay. Here's. Okay. Let's see if this works. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, that might work. We'll try it. Okay. Now, let me see if I can share that. I think we can do it. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Well, there you go, sweetheart. Now let's go through the little file here. Let's see if this works. I don't know if it'll work. Let me find this dude. There he is. Let me do this. Let me reduce this size. Yep. We can do that. And oh, it won't let me shuffle through them. What a bummer. Hold on. So we'll have to do something different. Hold on. It won't let me do a slideshow. Maybe it will right here. Hold on. Will this one let me do a slideshow? Okay, it's got to already be made. Then we'll do it. Let's see. Let me pull another picture. Yeah, I'll just put it all on a video. Well, here, we'll pull this one. There's some more of it. Yeah, I'll put it together a video. There's about 25 pictures of me putting it together there just the other day. And that's only one of, let me count them, because like I said, I like making you look like a fool. Okay. You poor little children. You see, because it's laughable to me. One, that you little unemployed turds don't understand that when you're in your 60s and you've worked your entire life, that you're going to be financially comfortable. Okay, you don't have to fib about who you are or what you're doing or be jealous or anything. You just go to work every day. That's all you got to do. Just get up in the morning, go to work. Don't try to live off somebody else, and you'll by the time you're 60, you'll be damn comfortable. And it's just, it is what it is. Let's see now in this room, just in this room, Stevie, just in this room, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 computers just in this room, and not one of them is below a Core i7. And 2 of them are Xeon dual processor. That's just in this room. That doesn't include what's behind the wall. That doesn't include what's out in the shop. That doesn't include what runs my home theater. None of that. Just what's in this room. Now, how much money do you want to put on that? You got anything you want to put? I mean, because you're the one that ran your mouth. And then I just want to know, are you willing to back your mouth up at all? Or are you just a coward that thinks because you lie about who you are that everybody else does that too? Because I got news for you. Everybody else don't do that. Some people don't have to. I know you do, but some people don't. Some people can just tell it like it is. So, what's happening, dude? I don't have a dual i9. I got a dual Xeon. One's an i9, the other one's a dual Xeon. Get your ears cleaned. Yeah, I'll flex a little bit. These little broke little turds that, just, they don't have anything in life. Okay, they demand proof, except for when Ryan talks. When Ryan talks, it's just, he can tell you, he saw cats flying on the back of a cow's back, and they'll swear up and down they saw it too. But, they just think nobody else, they think everybody else is like them, flat broke, and living off someone else. They find it hard to believe that, that somebody besides Ryan Upchurch could, actually own something. Hey, I'll take a look, man. You have to send me some links, dude. I don't, I used to explore new music all the time, and I'll be honest, I haven't done that for quite a while. I used to all the time. But I guess your hobbies and habits change the older you get. That used to be a big part of my life, man. Yeah, twerps. That's exactly what they are. like this guy right here, he's like, just think. Imagine living his life. Anything he wants, he's got to go to his mom and see if maybe she'll give him the money for it. Whether it be just a hot dog or, you know, a new mouse pad for the computers mom got him at Goodwill, to, you know, maybe an extra, you know, SD card for the Obama phone that he got fraudulently, or, you know, maybe, you know, some free minutes for his prepay cell phone account. You know, I mean, he thinks and it's sad because he thinks his whole life's that way too. He think, you know, since he's that way, he thinks other people must be like, no, you're the only one that lazy, dude. Other people don't have to ask their mom for everything like you do. Some people get a paycheck and stuff. I'm just saying, you know, it's sad but true. What's going on with Snaggy and Anonymous? Man, I must be out of the loop. I didn't know nothing about this. It says house court going with Anonymous. Hopefully win that case. Oh, wow. Where's this at? We had a tornado hit here again. It's funny, you know, I grew up in Ohio, and I saw a couple funnel clouds like in the sky a few times when I was a kid, like around the Circleville area. You got to be kidding me. What a coward. Anyway, but when I moved down here, where it's hilly, like the last place you'd think you'd see tornadoes, we've had 3 hit right here in this little town since I've lived here. And, you know, 2 of them did significant damage. The first one that hit right down here by the school, which is like, oh, I don't know. It's not quite a half a mile. It's probably more than a quarter mile, less than a half a mile. And it knocked a couple houses completely off the foundation. It picked up a mobile home, as they always do, and landed it upside down out in the field, and it completely tore up a couple modulars. And there's an auto auction right there. It used to be an airport, and now there's an auto auction there, and done a bunch of damage there, bunch of debris. And it looked like a bulldozer drove through the woods. There was just this like 20-foot wide, or I would say maybe 30-foot wide path through the woods of trees, just knocked down like a bulldozer drove over them. And then the second one that hit right up on this hill behind our house. And man, that thing was nasty. It sounded like a train, like everybody says. And that was freaky. But lucky enough, we sat right at the base of a hill, and it sort of just flew over top of us here, but it hit the ground about a mile away, where the ground came up higher. And then we just saw it had another little one hit and tore up just like 2 properties a little bit, and like a carport and stuff. Knocked a tree down on a car. But yeah, they're known to happen around here. Wow, I didn't know any of this happened. Wow. So Snaggy Harpooner called the cops on 80's wife. Why would he do that? Why did he call the cops on her? Yeah. Blows my mind. Exactly, Teeny. Dude, I had to start my life over from scratch twice. Yeah, I don't even want to hear it from these twerps. You know, I worked 2 jobs for 15 years. Yeah. It's a shame. I would have liked to seen his, his career, go out on a high note, but sadly, they're going to remember the last stuff he does. They're not going to remember, what's going to be remembered is all this drama and the drug abuse and the lawsuits and the slandering and the backstabbing and that's what's going to be remembered. The crap he said about his parents and all that, and just that's sadly there's the legacy. So Snaggy called the cops on, okay, it says, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I guarantee it's high every night. Why would tonight be any different? Snitch squad. Wow. Well, that's just like what that dumbass, Rusty Truck did. Spent a fucking 2 years doxing my life every way imaginable and starting petitions, people over there from his live stream. He can talk all the shit he wants, but that's where it all originated in his Discord chat and his live stream that there are just tons of screen caps of, and does that shit for 2 years, encouraging these dipshits to send stuff to my house, encouraging all people to call my house, encouraging people to do all kind of dastardly shit, not because I ever did anything to him, but because I criticized Ryan Upchurch. And then when I show him that, I could lose my patience and dip down as low as you and do exactly what you do to people, I could do to you. I could be that dirty. I could be that low down and shitty. Want to see? And then turn around and run to the police and lie through his teeth. And when I tell you he lied through his teeth, he lied through his teeth to 2 different police officers. And he signed a criminal complaint form that said that he was under penalty of perjury, agreeing that it was all true, and it wasn't true. He had convinced a prosecutor that I, out of the blue, did this to him and he didn't know who I was. He left out the part where, we did it to him for 2 years and he kept telling us that he was going to do it back to us and we wouldn't like it, but we didn't believe him. So we just kept doing it to him and kept doing it to him and kept doing it to him. And then he did it back to us. So will you go arrest him? Because if he'd have told him that, they would have laughed at him and told him to go home. Right. And so when I showed evidence of that, that was the end of his nonsense. Well, he not only did that once, he tried to do that in 2 different courts and it failed in 2 different courts. And he can tell all the lies and the stories and the gross exaggerations and the bullshit he wants. The truth is, it was totally dismissed because it had no merit at all. And this here shit of people like taking shit too far and then trying to, involve the police, that is crazy to me, man. You need help if you do that kind of shit. There's something wrong with you. It's just, there's something wrong with you, man. When you can't even manage your life on the internet, how the hell are you going to make it in real life? I mean, because you can sever a relationship with someone on the internet in 10 seconds. I mean, you just block everything and never speak to him again. That's just like AD talking all that shit about me that he don't know the first thing about me. Everything that comes out of his mouth is just something he fabricates. I cut all ties with him. Done. Don't want none. I haven't watched. I haven't went back. Haven't looked at his channel. He's been blocked. I haven't paid any attention to anything that comes out of his mouth in over a year. Well over a year. And I got no desire to. I mean, the last time I heard him speak, he contradicted himself 4 times within 2 hours. And I don't know how anybody sits and listens to that. I honestly don't. Because how do you take anything they say serious? I mean, he'll tell you 1 minute his favorite color is blue, and then 5 minutes later, he'll tell you how much he can't stand the color blue. And he does it all the time. And I just like, wow, this guy's got nothing. There's not one thing that could ever come out of his mouth that would interest me in the slightest way. I don't know. I don't know how anybody would listen to that nonsense. And now he's like trying to get people arrested. Jesus Christ, man. That dude's a psycho. Yeah, here we so okay, well now you can go make another account. Go make another one. Go make another account now. I haven't watched anything he's done. I haven't looked at Anonymous Dude's channel since he accused me of lying about having a dirt bike and a CUDA. One, I would have no reason to lie about that. But two, he didn't say, I think he might be lying. I'm not really sure. I've never been to his house. I have no idea what's in his buildings. He just flat out, he lied about this. I was like, dude, you're a loser. Goodbye. You don't even deserve to know who I am. You don't even deserve to know anything about me. And I've just got no use for people like that. Just because you lie about everything doesn't mean everybody else does. And I don't have to prove anything to you fucking unemployed losers. I got no desire to prove anything to you shitbags. I've been right about everything from day one. And the difference between me and all you little twerps is I'm standing on the side of what's right and you're not. There's just nothing else to say. There ain't a single one of you that will be able to walk away from this with your head held high. You look like complete fools. Ryan has made fools of you blind loyalists. He has made fools of you over and over and over again. And everything he's tried to lead you to believe about who he is, he's not. He's not some humble country kid. I doubt he could build a campfire, to tell you the truth. He's a city kid that grew up out in the county. And man, to see what a softy he is, and to know he's such a backstabbing bitch, and can't take the slightest bit of criticism from anyone. Just, man, he's nothing like what he tried to sell himself to be, what he marketed himself to be. He is not that person at all. Tight, grippy socks. I realize, man, no doubt. So what'd you do? Like, you just like aggravated him and he like called the cops on you? Man, that's crazy, dude. Man. Whew. Yeah, he's a psycho. That just, like I said, I haven't watched anything he done in a long, long time, but that pretty much confirms my gut feeling about that dude. He's truly not right in the head, and he is not to be trusted at all by anyone. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Speaking of those kind of socks, yeah, man, I got some of those Tommy Copper. I've got lymphedema in my right leg. I had 2 lymph nodes. I had to get my lymph nodes taken out, and on my right side because they were cancerous. The one there was one in my hip, and ever since they did that, I get lymphedema in my right leg, which is like, okay, it doesn't circulate the fluid in your shit. Okay, well, it'll retain water, and you're supposed to like wrap your leg with these compression wraps, which are a huge pain in the ass. Can't stand them. Just sucks to even deal with it. And as long as I stay pretty active, it don't bother me too much, and they don't swell up too terribly bad. But I got me a pair of those, and I had got like a pair of medical compression. I guess you'd call them leggings because they go up about to your thigh, or above your knee, and they're hell to put on. Well, now I got these Tommy Copper ones from Kohl's that aren't very hard to put on. You put them on pretty easy, and them son of bitches are the most comfortable. And they took care of that issue right now. I don't even have to worry about it anymore. It is no longer a thing. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. You guys must have really been into it, huh? Well, I don't know. But hey, Twisted though, but I'll tell you, some of these dudes take it right off of YouTube. They take it right off of YouTube and do all kind of, lame ass personal shit that maybe constitutes that. I'd want to know exactly what went down. Yeah, calling the cops as a troll. Now that's shit. But there's been a couple of these people. There's a couple of them I should have called the cops on. Honestly. Just some of them, don't know when enough's enough. And it's one thing to be funny or do something funny, but when you try to do something that affects somebody's life or livelihood, dude, that shit's not cool. You shouldn't be doing that. I don't know how in the hell. Oh, really? Okay. I don't blame you, dude. I know. That's what I'd like to know. How do they do it all day? A lot of them do, man. Wow. Who knows, man? Who knows? He's probably in jail again. Yeah, that's another guy right there, man. you know. That poor guy, man. You know, who knows? Imagine that life. You know, you just got nothing. You know, there you are, you're 40-ish. And there's nothing, man. You got no relationships. You got no friendships that are real. All your friendships are cyber. And, you know, they're lying to you as much as you're lying to them. You know, you guys all remember when that poor bastard made such a fool of himself, adopting that idiot, that lawnmower guy from the racetrack that, you know, was the caretaker there mowing the grass. And simply because he was made a public insult aimed at me, you know, the Rusty Truck Channel and his co-host over there adopted that guy like he was one of their stepchildren. And he sat on Ryan's live stream, not Upchurch, but Nichols, sat on that live stream and literally made up a whole story about being someone else. He literally spoke about another man's entire life as if it was his life. Someone that he wasn't even related to in any way, shape, or form. It was someone that owned the property that he was hired to keep an eye on and mow the grass for cheap rent. And he sat there and Ryan Nichols, fucking dumbass. Oh, I got to tell you, there's two funny stories I got to tell you about that, you know. And my fucking God, dude. He let that guy carry on his live stream for 2 hours. And at one point, the guy said that they sold 480 used motorcycles in 1 year. Well, there's only 365 days in a year, right? And when you're an independent motorcycle shop, chances are you're probably closed every Sunday. You're probably closed every holiday. So in all reality, you're really only looking at like 280 days of being open that you could sell something. And this motorcycle shop's in a small town with a population of like 2,800 people. And he's indicating that he sold on an average of 4 used motorcycles a day from this little fucking podunk motorcycle shop out in the middle of nowhere. One, where do you get 4 used motorcycles to sell every day? Where would you get those from? And 2, where are you getting all these customers to come and buy 4 motorcycles a day? I mean, that would be a world famous motorcycle shop. Selling it. And old Nichols just sat there. Yeah, man, that's really interesting, dude. That's really something, man. You're really cool, dude. He just bought that shit because he was so hungry and so desperate for a friend that would talk to him on the phone. And he found one in that guy. That guy could talk for 10 minutes and not stop and take or 2 hours and not take a break, and talk for 10 minutes without even ending a sentence. I never seen somebody rattle on like that dude did. And it was all made up, every bit of it. And I knew he was full of shit from one comment he made. You know, nobody has multiple tire machines. But the dumbest thing I saw that dumbass do, okay, way back, and some of you guys will get a kick out of this, okay? I know. And they still won't. They'll still, tomorrow it'll be Rypta'ed making it all up. That's what it'll be. I encourage any of you, if you didn't listen to the whole video on Triple T's video that's posted on his page right now of Rypta'ed, I encourage you to go listen to it because it's the unedited full tomato. And they'll say he's making it all up. But anyway, that stupid Rich Newbuck channel, Ryan Nichols, when I first started doing this live stream, when I was putting together a bunch of files for a totally different case that may or may not end up being something, I was going through all these old clips in the beginning, and that's a little bit, I'll talk more about that, but there's been somebody like calling our phone all hours of the night, making physical threats, and they have been caught. They know who it is, and it's some of the stuff that was said was enough to go to jail. Anyway, and that's for a whole nother video. But anyway, my wife has worked independently for the company she retired from. She retired, and the company she retired from, they pay her as an independent to code warranty claims. Okay. And so she takes phone calls from people that are filing warranty claims, and then she codes the warranty claims. And then she bills them for her time. And it's like a part-time gig. She's done here from the house since she retired, and she works 4 days a week. And so we had decided that we would hire an additional person to not only do it while my wife took a day off, but do it alongside her 2 days a week to kind of, do more and make a little more money. And so I put in a new desk, a new computer, and a VoIP phone. And I had said on the live stream, we're putting in a new desk and stuff because there's going to be another lady here answering the phones. I had made that remark on my live stream. And that stupid son of a bitch, what I learned when I'm listening back through these video clips, that stupid son of a bitch, Rich Newbuck, that small fucking tiny brain of his, he thought I was talking about hiring somebody to answer phones for my podcast. I mean, that's how damn dumb he is. I couldn't believe that. And it's like, I've never seen a bigger group of people make wild assumptions and then believe those wild assumptions and then be completely wrong. Just be completely wrong. But he carried on about that on old Rusty Truck's podcast one night, that I was thinking I was hiring somebody to answer phones from a pod, and had nothing at all whatsoever to do with the podcast, and everything to do with my wife getting someone to help her answer the phone a couple days a week and to do it on her day off, which the lady still does. She still does it. How dumb he is. And then I'm going through more clips, right? because I needed to get a person's voice. Okay, I needed to get some clips of a person's voice. And so another time they were sitting there like saying that I didn't have any flea market booth, when it's like, I'll bet you there's no less than probably 30 videos on my channel of us there multiple times. And it's like, this is why you guys have no credibility. Is you assume things and then believe it's true without ever vetting your assumption, and you just end up sounding like fools. And that's why they have no credibility. So their credibility is so far gone that even if they told somebody something that was true, nobody's going to believe it, because they've been wrong so many times that nobody believes them anymore. Yep. There you go, right there. He's probably the type of guy that would, go after his son's wife. I mean, there's dudes that'll do that stupid shit. Their pecker leads them around their whole life. Most one-uppers are womanizers because of their insecurities. People are one-uppers because they're extremely insecure. So they can't let somebody else shine. They have to take that away. It's an insecurity thing. And so you're dealing with that, right? And that's blatantly obvious with him. And then they are, another part of this insecurity that they deal with is validating their manhood. And unfortunately, they validate their manhood by, they think the more places they can put their penis, the more of a man they are. They don't realize the exact opposite is what makes you a man. And they think they're accomplishing something, but the places that they put it are places where anybody could put one. It's like they're not accomplishing anything. Anyone could do that, right? It wouldn't require anything, just a heartbeat, and you could do it too. And let me find it. Hold on. That's exactly right, man. That is a whole lot of what goes on with that same little circle jerk. There's one little circle jerk of people in Crack Squad. It's the same. There's about, I would say, 14 people. Okay. It's the same circle jerk, same 14 people. They are just miserable. They're miserable with their lives. They're miserable with, they're just miserable inside, just absolutely miserable. And they have to impose that on anybody else that appears not to be miserable. And it's sad. That's why they get on Johnny so much, because, Johnny, despite not having much, he makes the best of it. And he appears to be happy and having a good time. And they just can't stand that. It just drives them crazy. They want him to be miserable because they are miserable. And if they find anyone that will agree with them, it's like crack cocaine. Because there ain't nobody in their real life that's going to do that. So they find it in these little online circle jerks where there's no responsibility for your actions. And so they all try to outdo each other as far as being outrageous and doing outrageous stuff. And a lot of them got way too carried away with it. When you're getting arrested for something you did online, There's, you're probably overinvested. And you're 100% right, Snaggy. That's as true as it can get right there. You're right about that too. That's such a trip to me that these kids will get so carried away about their online presence because they've built this fake life online where they get to be somebody that they're not in real life. And they will protect that online character more than they'll protect their own real life. You're right about that. It's funny to see it. It's like there's a there you go. No kidding. Yeah. Oh, really? Why would he do that? I mean, why would he even want to do that? What's the point in that? That's crazy. Because he says, a backwoods insane. He says, I found the same reaction to how Ryan Upchurch's fans will not go against him no matter what the proof is. They still will sit there and say he sings great. All right. Well, this goes back to what we were just talking about, backwoods, with protecting their online like little community, because they're around people that agree with them. They're around like-minded people, and they don't have that in real life. All the people they've met in real life roll their eyes when they show up, right? So they got these people online that all agree with everything they say, and they don't ever want to go against them, because then they're back to just having nobody paying a bit of attention to anything they say. And again, a lot of them don't have the mental capacity to understand they're being played, and they take it too far. You too, man. Carol crazy. I think I'm going to. So anyway, I had to go through all these clips to give to the damn. And that's another thing. The cyber crimes unit here in Ohio, it's a division of the FBI. The cyber crimes, when you report cyber crimes, that ends up who investigates it is a division of the FBI here in Ohio. That's who does it. It's not a police department. It's not like each police department has a cyber crimes unit. They turn that all over to one cyber crimes unit that's like working the whole state, from what I understand. At least from what I understand, that my attorney explained it to me the best he could, but that's the gist of it. And these simpletons don't even know that. They don't realize that people go to jail for some of the stuff they've done in the name of avenging Upchurch, who is lying to them the entire time. It's a sad situation. And I think for a lot of them, they're going to find out that none of these people are going to show up with bail money that they were thinking they were impressing. Doing suing. I love it. They're doing suing. They're doing suing. That's what they're doing. They're doing suing. They're doing suing over here. Oh, poor Martin. I can't believe that guy's still around. Is Martin still complete lunatic, going off the deep end, just making wild shit up as he goes, and just do you guys remember? I know some of you do, because I just want this attaboy, okay? What do you mean, Gobbles? No, he's not. He's just a dude, honestly. Okay. He's just like you and me and everybody. He's just acting a fool online trying to get views. That's all. He ain't hurting nobody. He ain't hurting anybody. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. You know, he's not hurting anybody. We got a new doggy since our doggies passed away. But yeah, these poor guys, you know, they give this allegiance to Upchurch, and he's just lying to them the whole time. And I think their loyalty gets misplaced. I'll bet he would. He's another one, you know, that clip I got of him saying that the real money is in used tires. That's what you call being ghetto rich. Okay. Listen, we've all been there. I remember when I was like, 17 years old, and I'd go out in I had a 73 Dodge Charger that had a 400 Magnum in it with a 2-barrel carburetor, and it had an automatic with an open rear end, and it would just spin one tire. Okay. And man, I'd go out acting a fool. People, man, I'd do a big long burnout and ruin a tire, and sometimes I'd like do a burnout on it and then switch it and get, put it on the other side and put the newer one on the side that spins, and then eventually have to get another tire. And I was a poor country kid. I had to go get a used tire. I couldn't go buy brand new tires. And, I mean, that was just unheard of for a poor country kid like me, and, so we all been there, you buy a used tire. Well, when you go shopping for a used tire, you're looking for one to get you by because you're broke, right? There's no money in used tires, Uncle Will. There just isn't any money in it. Now, maybe money to you is $100. Money to me is 10 grand. Okay. So that, I guess you have to establish what you consider money. Okay. There's no money in used tires. That's why most big tire stores just throw them away. And the used tire gypsies, the Uncle Wills, okay, the guys that don't take a bath and drive an old beat up pickup truck, and they go around scavenging the tires out of the dumpster, and then they'll sell it for $30 or $40. When you think about how long it takes you to change the tire, you got to store the tire, you got to find the tire, then you got to put the tire on, you got to put air in the tire, and then you got to take the guy's money. Now, I don't see you making a whole lot of money if you're not running a legit business. Like if you're just doing this shit on the side and putting the money in your pocket, not paying any taxes or anything, there's no fucking way you're making anything. So if you're doing it legitimately, you got to pay taxes on that and all that. You got to have insurance to store tires against diseases caused by mosquitoes and just all kind of nonsense. There's no money in used tires. That's just crazy talk. And so if you think there's money in used tires, what you're saying to me is that You've only ever been ghetto wealthy. You know, you just, you know, $2,000 is a shit ton of money to you, apparently, where, you know, just somebody in the tire business, you know, $2,000 is just, you know, what you make off of one fucking car. You know, and you'll do 30 more that day. Just ridiculous, you know, make a stupid comment like that. I have no idea who that even is. That's another one I never engaged. That guy is just too far gone from, I mean, there was nothing there to interest me. Who was singing Elvis? Handyman says, I saw the end of a recent video where he is in a robe singing the best Elvis he can sing. Yeah. How do you go from doing songs like Holler Boys and, you know, Outlaw, Palm Creek Road, freaking Dirty South to what just got released? Shouldn't you be getting better? Shouldn't the mixes be getting better? Shouldn't the backing tracks be forever improving? Like you see, like if you go back and you watch like one of Tom McDonald's early videos, and then you watch his most recent, you can see that Nova very methodically honed her craft. I mean, she went from being a very amateur videographer and editor to being master class. I believe that woman could make a video for any pop star out there today, and it would hold a candle to anything that's being put out by Hollywood, Nashville, Detroit, anywhere. I mean, those videos, not only are the videos very good with incredible cinematography, incredible composition, great color, 4K, clarity, and just spot on with the lyrics and the videos telling the same story the song's telling. I mean, she just has gotten very, very good at it. And then you look, and Ryan's video quality went backwards. He went from having like 2 real good albums with really good videos back in the tracks to just getting like kind of amateur and lazy, and the backing tracks sound terrible, man. Doing pills, you probably got it. Yeah, Kim Kempis says doing pills. I should, yeah. SF investigates. I've been thinking about, because I had to go through all these old clips. I started to say a little while ago before I got lost. I started to say a little while ago. Okay, I had to go through all these clips, so they could check if someone's voice, what they call, what did he call that? It's called a voice image. Voice image. I guess, yeah, that's what he called it. Voice image. Anyway, I'm thinking, man, person should like put together I don't know if I'd ever have the time to get it done, but I've got enough video clips, and I think other people do too, of that whole hot mess. that you could make a really cool documentary, you know. I guess you got to wait till the crash and burn happens, you know, kind of be working on it. If that's something someone wants to do, like be working on it now, you know, and taking your time and, you know, editing each clip perfectly and taking your time and putting it all in order, because that video will go viral at the right time. Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So yes, now he says people, you know, content creators, they make outrageous claims and no evidence, of course, and they just keep running with it. And yeah, these people are slightly retarded enough to believe it, because it's crazy, you know, the how you defend what we've seen happen over the last 2 years with as predictable as it was. I mean, I literally said, man, this is going to backfire. People are going to get sued. Man, friendships are going to be broken. Man, I wouldn't be doing this, man. Dude, dude looks high. His pupils are huge and they're not dilating any. And, you know, they're, oh, you're crazy. And all the personal attacks and the bullshit. And guess what? It was exactly what happened. Exactly. Yeah, it's a sad story. And I'd like to. I don't know. Why is he making an announcement? I'd like to see that. I loved his video, man. It was a good video. And I don't need your $100, dude. AD, I don't need $100 from you. I'll never prove anything to you. You're a loser, dude. You don't have enough self-respect for me to bother. You just have to be an unmitigated fool to think that a car head, retired mechanic that grew up working on fucking muscle cars wouldn't have one. You just got to be stupid to even have them thoughts in your brain. Why do you think I built a huge fucking building? Why would I do that? To put fucking bicycles in? I mean, I don't know what's wrong with people as stupid as you are. Go back to your channel and contradict yourself some more. We don't need you over here. I don't want you over here. I don't want you as a subscriber. I don't want you watching. I just don't want nothing from you, dude. You're nothing to me, and it's going to stay that way. And no, it would take a hell of a lot more than $100 for me to fucking stoop to your level and sell my dignity out to prove something to somebody that means nothing to me. You're just dumb. You're a fool when you assume things about people. And someday you're going to learn that. It's okay to make wild assumptions as long as you know they're assumptions and you're not really sure. But when you make assumptions and then believe them like they're real and then repeat them like they're real, you're making a fool of yourself. Yeah, I'm ready to take a ride. You know, I'll tell you what happened, Brian. Yeah, bike. So funny. I haven't had much trouble with that thing at all. They are crazy, dude. I haven't had much trouble out of that bike at all, right? And again this year, it never ceased to amaze me, man. I think it'd fire right up. Yeah, fire right up. This year, I had kept a battery tender on it, but this year it didn't get a battery. I had a new battery. I put a new battery in that bike last fall, and I didn't even put a battery tender on it this year. To be honest, I totally forgot. And when I took it up there to my brother's building up there, I just didn't even think to hook it up. And so when I went up there, it started right up. I'm like, oh man, things started right up again. You know, I rode it home. I go out the next day, it's 60 degrees. I'm going to take a ride. I go out there and start it up. And man, smoke was just flying out of the rectifier. And the rectifier on them Dyna chassis, the rectifier is bolted on the two front down tubes coming down from the fork tree right behind the front tire. And they got like a round chrome guard over it where air can get to it and cool it. Man, smoke is just pouring out of that thing and pouring out of that thing. I'm like, what the hell, you know? And I'm like, oh shit, it's going to catch on fire. And I shut it off real quick, and I'm going to run and get a fucking 12 millimeter wrench and take the seat loose so I can take the battery loose. And it quit. I took that little guard off, and here some fucking moths had made a nest in there that caught on fire. Like their little, it looked like pieces of leaves and shit that they had drug up in there. But anyway, yeah, it was some kind of a nest that fires made in there. Scared the shit out of me. But yeah, I can't wait to ride it. But I didn't get to ride it that day because I cut the battery cable thinking the goddamn thing was going to burn up, and I couldn't get the seat off fast enough. So I grabbed a pair of dikes and just snipped the fucking battery cable. And now I got to buy a new battery cable, put it on. Yeah, AD's the clown living off the military districts, too scared to go outside. And, you know, just, you know, he has nothing manly in his life at all. Not one single thing. And he just can't understand that other people wouldn't have the life he has. Other people would have manly things. Like, you know, retired gearhead mechanic wouldn't have a muscle car at retirement age. It's just mind-blowing to me that you would even harbor such thoughts. It's just stupid. Don't ever guess at what you think someone has or doesn't have. That's all I'm going to say to you, AD. You're just a fool, dude. An absolute unmitigated fool. I've got one. If you must know, 68. Yep. Putting a fuel injector, modern Hemi in out of a Dodge truck with the automatic transmission. It's black on black. It's got a narrow rear end, 4 9-inch. Roll cage in it that was put in kind of shitty. An old retired race car. I got to find finish getting the rest of the glass for it because all the glass was taken out and it had Lexan in it. All the wiring had been taken out. So I had to put all that back in it. All the guts had been taken out of the doors. I had to get those pieces and put back in. And, you know, if it means that much to you, AD, there's 2 videos on my channel that you can see the car clearly. Get busy and find them. What's happening? And I got my brother's KTM. That should really piss you off. So now I got 2 dirt bikes. And I got my brother's brand new KTM. Shockingly, his wife gave it to me. Someone was mentioned that in here the other night that he blew oil over. So I'm not shocked. It's probably like watching a girl try to like start a lawnmower or snowblower or tiller or a weed eater. It's probably about exactly like watching a girl do it. Imagine being that worthless. I've seen him in here quite a bit. I'd argue he's probably too afraid. Afraid the boogeyman's going to get him. Hey, he can go through. It's there. There's on one of my live streams. I forgot. I'll give you some clues, AD. On one of my live streams, okay, in the summertime, the other addition on my garage, there used to be a door that went outside right there. Okay. But when I built the other addition onto the garage, that door was taken off and just left off. In the wintertime, I bolt OBS on there, and I have a fuel oil furnace on wheels. That it's a furnace I took out of one of the houses and rigged it up on a set of wheels on a metal frame so I could roll it around. And I keep it pushed over in the other side, up in the corner there. And then in the winter, I'll roll it into the main building and I'll put this OBS up where that door used to be and run the furnace. And I got the fuel oil line coming in the side of the building from the fuel oil tank outside. That's all stuff I put in myself. These are things you do when you're a man, AD, like when you're born with a penis. You do these things. And so I got heat in there very cheaply, right? And then I don't have this big ass furnace taking up room all summer, right? And so now I'm going to remedy that probably this year because I got a real good deal on an overhead Reasoner that's big enough to heat the whole building and not bankrupt me. Them forced air gas furnaces are expensive to run. The fuel oil, not so much. So anyway, I totally forgot that I had that OBS down when I was doing a live stream one day from the garage, and you can see the back of the car right in the fucking video. So enjoy yourself. It's there. You can go find it. You can even see the back tire of a couple dirt bikes. No, say it ain't so. A country dude that grew up a mechanic in the country having a dirt bike. That just seems impossible. Weird. I mean, that's almost as crazy as a retired mechanic having a car they work on. It's crazy. I'll tell you a good one. Okay. I guess I'd like to see that, but okay. I know somebody else that can't either. I'll have to tell you that story someday. You won't be able to watch it. There won't be any cameras in there, but jury selection in June. trial in July, from what everything I know to date. Wins the Rodney case, so we can watch it. He's trying to get these people to settle out, and he don't have the offer hasn't been good enough. This is just from what I know. So anyway, they make an oil drain can. Like if you're in the automotive repair business, okay, you will quickly learn that I know. Could you imagine? Could you imagine being a man, growing up all your life, never having a dirt bike, never having a V8 with loud exhaust, never having a 4-wheel drive truck or anything? I don't know. It just seems so foreign to me growing up in the country and growing up in the 70s and 80s. Just part of life. I mean, it's just how, it's just retarded. Somebody like he's so dumb he doesn't realize, when I got my license, Cudas and Roadrunners and GTXs and fucking fastback Mustangs were sitting on used car lots for cheap because nobody wanted them because of the gas crunch. I mean, Jesus Christ, my first fucking car loan was for a Charger. I mean, it's just, I feel sorry for people like him. I really do. But anyway, if you get in the, I do. And you know why I think Rypta'ed's going to spill the beans? Because I can't imagine Ryan and his little team of circle jerks keeping their mouth off of Rypta'ed. They're going to be incapable of keeping their mouth off of him. And he's going to retaliate by spilling the beans. You can go ahead and write that prediction down. But every shop will have very similar equipment, right? Like you go from one shop to another, the shop equipment is very similar. And one of the most popular oil drain cans has a massive flaw, and that is it's a 30-gallon oil drain can, okay, that has a pneumatic drain on it. And how the pneumatic drain works is you hook an air hose to the oil drain can and it pressurizes the can. And then you open the drain valve and it forces the oil out into a storage tank outside through a hose or whatever. Or maybe you have a storage tank in the ground, or maybe you have a furnace that burns used motor oil. Most shops have these drain cans because it's a pain in the ass to try to like lift one of those up and dump it. These new ones with a pneumatic drain are very popular. But they have an incredible flaw, and that is there's a process to pressurize the oil drain can. And if you fail to follow that procedure, you're going to take an oil bath. And you're going to take an oil bath with 30 gallons of used motor oil and whatever else went in there, antifreeze, gasoline, whatever. People spit in them. I mean, just saying. Yeah, I agree, man. Just that shit he did to his mother. I mean, there was no need to take that public like that and slander her to so many people without verifying any of this. And making these accusations that he won't walk back, even though he knows he was wrong. He knows it didn't happen. He knows it was untrue, and he's yet to walk it back. And he made his mother sign an NDA. And she was foolish enough to do it. So there's that. But anyway, so every time someone new is hired, like in the quick lube part of the shop where they do the oil changes, one of them takes an oil bath from that damn can, because when you put the air hose on it to pressurize the tank, you must have both valves closed. One valve is the drain tube, you know, where the oil hits the funnel and drains down into the can. The other valve is the one connected to the drain hose that's going to pump the oil wherever you want it to go. You must close both those valves, hook the air hose on it, wait till it has 120 psi in it, and then slowly open the drain valve and push the oil out. Very, very neat, very clean, no spillage, no drops, no leaks, no nothing, right? Well, when I was a service manager for Q White Honda, and they had just built a brand new building, brand spanking new, and we moved from a downtown dealership to a dealership out in the burbs in a big, nice, new, brand new building. And this oil change kid, man, back there, I just explained to him, make sure both valves are shut when you stick that air hose on there, and make sure you only open the bottom valve, you know, for the oil to go out. And I was sitting in my office and I could see out the window, and I watched him hook up the air hose. And I thought, okay, he's got it. You know, both valves are closed and he's hooking the air hose up. He's good. And so I didn't think I needed to pay too close of attention. Next thing you know, I turn around, I'm looking and I'm watching him, and he like opens the drain hose valve and he thinks nothing happened, but it is happening. It's, you know, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything, but it will push that used oil out that drain hose. And he opened the valve and he thinks nothing's happening. So he reaches up and opens the upper valve, and Jesus Christ, 30 fucking gallons of used oil just shot straight up in the air and rained down on him. And it covered the car, him, the wall, the rack, the garage doors. Brand new building, man. Oh, you poor kid, man. This is his first day. Like, oh. And, you know, that's happened to a lot of kids. I could see AD'd be one that would do just that. He would do exactly that and get it all over him. And he'd be like, oh, you guys got somewhere I can wash my hands around here? My hands are dirty. I got my hands dirty. I believe that. Like I said, I made a prediction earlier and I'll repeat it, man. You know, B. Loose is robbing Ryan behind his back, and he's just going to disappear with a bunch of Ryan's money when the shit hits the fan. And they're going to doubt in my mind that that's going to be what happens. Oh, hey, what's up, Hoosier? I didn't even see you in there. Appreciate you stopping by. I hope like hell, you know, Rypta'ed does. If they badmouth him, I don't blame him. He probably should tell all. Because I'm going to tell you something. They'd do it to him in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. And think nothing of it. Yeah, he was. He was there, and she proved that. Ryan's mom proved that. The funny thing was about that, Tracy, is, and you may remember, and I'm sure some of the people in here remember, when Ryan made a video about buying his brother and his mom a house. He made a video about it. So for him to turn around and claim he knew nothing about it and she did it behind his back, you know, yeah, I hate to tell you, Hoosier, but I mean, I don't know you, dude. I wish you luck. I hope it doesn't happen. But my prediction is he'll do you the same way he's done every single person, everybody else. Why would he do you different than he did anybody else? Well, what did Chase Matthew do to deserve what he got? I can tell you Adam Calhoun didn't do anything to deserve what he got. Adam always said something positive about Ryan in public, always. You know, if he'll slander his own mother, no, just putting that out there. Just remember, if they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. I hope it's not true, but so far the pattern would prove that that's the likely outcome. Is that if you are in any kind of a personal relationship with Ryan, and it's for any reason whatsoever, that relationship would go bad or he would get mad at you for any reason whatsoever, you're going to be the next victim of his YouTube channel. Because he's going to turn his camera on and he's going to slander you to all his fans, and his low IQ ones will believe it, and they'll come after you, and anybody he badmouths, they think that's open season for them to do whatever they want to that person because Ryan approved. And a lot of them take it too far. There you go. I would say that's the key, is you better always have your guard up, and you better make sure you've got ammunition to fire back. Because when them bombs start flying, you know, you don't want to be out there with nothing to fight back with. I think that just what we heard this a while back, and I think I'm almost sure that I heard it from Dagburn was talking about it with somebody about a nude photo floating around that Ryan supposedly had of Deerdorf's woman. Well, I guess maybe it's more than that. It's even more than that. I mean, I don't think you would do what you got to go watch Rypta'ed's and you got to go watch Triple T's video and his video of Rypta'ed. I didn't play that part for a couple reasons, but one, he had deleted them off his Instagram, so I didn't feel it was right for me to like repost them, but Triple T already had his video posted before any of that happened. You can go over there and watch his, and in that video, he says that it's so bad that, you know, he would delete him over it. Well, I don't think you'd delete somebody over a nude. You delete somebody over a nude with a D, you know, something. Anyway, it can't be good. And I just don't think Ryan is capable of just listening to Rypta'ed's, you know, I can't say threat because it wasn't a threat. I think it was a statement. So I don't think Ryan is capable of listening to Rypta'ed's statement that if you do A, I'm going to do B. It wasn't a threat. It was a statement. He said it very matter-of-factly, meaning I don't think he's kidding. And I don't think, one, Rypta'ed would say that if he didn't have said ammunition. And two, I don't think Ryan's capable of just leaving it at that and going, okay, well, he means it, so I'm not going to say nothing about him. And then look at his team and say, don't any of you guys say anything about him either. I don't think anybody there is that responsible. So it's inevitable that it's going to come out because I hope that's not true, but it sounds like it might be. Because now everyone wonders what it means, you know. I don't know. But what do you do about it? Okay. So let me throw this out there at you before I get off here. Let me get caught up in these. Do you guys remember when I tried to be a friend to Martin and warned him that his wife was fooling around with somebody at work? And he called me a liar and he didn't believe me and all that shit. And then lo and behold, a month later, she files for a divorce and moves out. And I didn't even mean to even see that. I just was stopping up there to drop off a cease and desist letter and just happened to walk up on it. And he didn't believe me, called me all kind of names, all this crap. And guess what? It was exactly what I saw. And it was exactly what I assumed. But anyway, Inside Corner says, hey, Hoosier, you and Upchurch going to remix that song Fallen now? What are you guys going to do with Be Loose while you're making that? You going to have him hold your wallet? Yep. Well, like I said, it blows my mind. It's like you watch him do it to, where's that list of people? Let me just see what I can do off the top of my head. Okay. His mom, his dad, Chase Matthew, Justin Adams, Adam Calhoun, Katie Noel. Oh, who else? Heavy Duty Country. Who was that one dude, the black dude that had the reaction channel? I forget now. I did it to him. Oh, God, I know I'm forgetting a whole bunch. Just writing like, Jelly Roll. I mean, I don't know. You see him do it to all them guys. So, you know, what's fallen? Oh, it's a song. It's a love song. It just needs remade. I'm just teasing you, Hoosier. I don't know you, dude. I shouldn't even be saying nothing. I just know that a prediction of the future behavior from someone is a reflection of their past behavior. As long as you know that, you're probably good. Don't worry about it. But you better know that. You know, he's done it to a lot of people. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's like dating someone that cheats. You know, like you find someone and you find out, well, they cheated on their first husband, they cheated on their second husband, they cheated on their third husband, cheated on their fourth husband, cheated on their fifth husband, cheated on their sixth husband, cheated on their seventh husband, and you're the eighth husband. And someone's telling you, hey, she's probably going to cheat on you. You're like, oh, no. Good luck. That's all I'm saying. Better check on her when she leaves the house. See where she's going. And so, yeah, there's that. There's that. No kidding. There you go. Well, it's everyone else's fault. Of course it is. Everyone else's fault. It's the Rodney family's fault for putting their what did he say? He said that they made a TV show and they didn't do any of those things. Their child was reported missing and volunteers around the community volunteered to look for her, and it was a news report. None of them had YouTube channels. None of them put anything on YouTube. It got put on YouTube by people like Ryan and the other true crime channels. They're the ones that put it on YouTube. Not the Rodney family. But to hear Ryan tell it was their fault. They made him do that to them by reporting their child missing and the news report being shared online with people. Now it's their fault that Ryan said they faked their child's death to scam GoFundMe money, and they were involved in trafficking of little people along with Icadmel and Zanime, two very real people with very real jobs and very real reputations, and some of them with school-age children, some of them with government jobs. It was their fault he did that to them, so therefore he's being sued for no reason. I mean, what's this world coming to when a celebrity can't turn on his 3,000 subscriber YouTube channel and accuse a bunch of innocent people of heinous crimes against children right before he completely doxes them? I mean, what's this world coming to when you can't do that and not get sued? I mean, it's just silly. Know what I mean? I mean, that's the other thing you guys should know about that whole hot mess over there. You know, none of it's by accident. It's all premeditated. And he only bothers with people he thinks are weak or broke or dumb or dumber than he is. He won't engage with anybody that he thinks has got any kind of brains or anything. You know, it's obvious. He does, very much so. Yeah, some people don't get it, you know. I try to think to myself, you know, what would it be like, you know, to I mean, I had stepdaughters. I never had an actual daughter. I had two stepdaughters that I raised since they was babies. And I try to wrap my mind around what would it be like if one of them just said, hey, I'm going to a party with some friends. And see you later. And then they don't come home. So you and this is not in their character. It's like they're not a person to do this. and they just got their driver's license. They just got a car, and now they're missing. And everybody, the last time they seen her, she was leaving this party. And you're trying to process that, okay? And you got volunteers that are showing up to help, and now all of a sudden, all these true crime YouTubers are making videos with their wild and irresponsible speculations. And next thing you know, you got a celebrity with 3 million subscribers and a crazed fan base coming at you with these just wild accusations. And then, you know, a team that specializes in finding vehicles underwater comes to take a look at where they've already looked, just to err on the side of caution, because the police don't look for cars underwater every day, and the police don't use side sonar every day. But these volunteers do, and they're professionals at it. And they found dozens of cars in the water. And so they show up and they find your child in the water right there where she was. And then the Forestry Service comes forward and says, we have video. Take a look at this. And so, you know, you have a private meeting with the police and you and Forestry Service and the local police there, and you watch the video and you see what happened. You know, made a wrong turn and drove right into the water. Car rolled, window was down, car sunk instantly. And it's funny, and not to get too far off in the weeds, that people talk, oh, she could just get out of the car. It's pitch black at night underwater, and you're upside down, and you can't see anything. Yeah, don't tell me what you would do, because you don't know what you would. So, anyway, you see a video, you see what happened, and you know what happened. Okay. Was it just a terrible accident? And you got this stupid celebrity convincing his crazed, lunatic, low IQ, uneducated, unemployed dirtbag fans that you did this for some GoFundMe money. And they're showing up in your chat. They're they're showing up on your Facebook, and they're showing up on your Instagram for your lodge, and they're showing up on your lodge's Facebook page, and they're making accusations towards you and accusing you of all kind of heinous crap. And he's making videos every day telling everybody that he has solved this crime, and and you are a big player in it. And it's just, oh my, I couldn't imagine dealing with that. That would be heavy duty shit to deal with. Most people would. Anyway, guys, I got to get off here. Woo, I was on here long, and I planned on being on here. I'm just gonna say, dude. Honestly, I'll just say this, dude. You can call me all the names you want, okay? If they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. And if you watch them do it to everyone else, and like every time you're with them, they're bad mouthing whoever's not in the room, I guarantee you, when you're not in the room, They're bad mouthing. And dude, you know, Adam Calhoun was a pretty loyal friend who always had something good to say about Ryan. And look at the price he paid for it. He was accused of being a sniveling simp for stopping by to check on the guy. Jelly Roll gave him the biggest compliment you could give somebody on one of the largest country radio talk shows, and he was accused of hurling an insult that just didn't happen. So yeah, you can pretend that you're above all that, and that he'd never do that to you, but I'd sure as hell have my guard up. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I told you so. You heard it right out of Rypta'ed's mouth. Put the pills away. We could see it with the pupils being the size of 50-cent pieces in front of a bright light for 2.5 years, sweating and speaking out of your mind. I don't know how much more evidence you guys need, but you enablers, we're all going to point fingers at you when this is over. Every one of you enablers, we're going to point fingers at you. You should be held accountable for continuing to enable this downward spiral. Appreciate y'all. Catch you on the next one.